Peace and blessings to Brother Malak Hanif, aka the Benevolent Winds, coming through with this video. Uh, Definitely making this video as a late night video. You won't see much of my face, but more so I'm making this video as a way of expressing the inner thoughts and the inner stirrings of the spirit, the Ruach, upon my soul. I'm sitting here gazing up into the heavens, thinking and considering the starlit skies, or what should be starlit skies, and how those are absent and void as we live and dwell in these matrix realities that are controlling our thoughts, that are controlling our views, our conception of the creation. Forget the world of creation, of life itself, how we've had this world poured over our eyes, this veil poured over our eyes to control how we perceive reality, how we perceive life, how we perceive existence. And it's so thick and so heavy that, again, I've harped on it on older videos, we can't even look up into the heavens at night and see the heavens at night. We can't see the starlit skies at night. We can't see the Milky Way. We can't see the nebulas. We can't see the galaxies. We can't see any of these things at night. We can't see the glory of the creation. Instead, we're given a counterfeit, a bleak, dark sky. A world that tries to make it seem like the creation is facilitated on scarcity and lack, on depravity, on selfishness, on arrogance and egocentrism. And that's not the truth. That's not the reality. That is not the definite truth. It is the wool, it is the fabric, it is the veil that has been pulled over our eyes to try to convince us that the lie is true and the true is false. That what is true is impossible and that the lie is perpetual. And I often, chosen one, sit in sorrow, in grief, in anguish, because this knowledge, to know these things, to understand these things, to comprehend these things, and yet still have to be entangled or entertain the lie, to entertain the falsehood, to entertain the deception, to entertain the nonsense and the foolishness. It is a challenge in and of itself. It is a very, very challenging thing to have to deal with. It is a very hard thing to grasp, because the adversary, for lack of better terms, and the minions have such a layered grasp on mankind and consequently society, that they're able to control the perceptions and the thoughts, the feelings and the influences and the motives of so many, to enslave so many, to have so many minds darkened. And when enlightenment and insight and understanding are introduced, how swiftly they are neutralized, how swiftly they are snuffed out. And to be entertaining such futility is beyond my easier conceptions, because the way my mind is wired, is to be solution oriented, and to see such easy solutions and see so many grasping in as if in darkness, but in broad daylight, is perplexing, disconcerting, to the point that you don't know what to do. You see the futility of it all and you don't know what to do. I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, because I know I'm not the only one that has been given this level of insight, this level of understanding, this level of comprehension, that how Satan and his minions are doing everything that they can to try to control and manipulate, to suppress and oppress those who are given the light of the Most High. it gets to a point where you actually can see Satan with plain eyes. And you can see those in allegiance to him. You can see those that are aligned with him. You can see those that are worshiping him. And you can see the alliances. You can see the devotees in their agency, in their manipulative, monetizing ways, schemes and agendas, plots and plans to try to control and oppress, right? And it's perpetual to the point that because you see and because you realize so many have already sold their souls on the idea of controlling humanity or controlling a specific sect of humanity, it becomes this crazy out of this world experience because you start to see with your eyes. And you become enlightened and you become understanding. And once you become understanding and you perceive and you thus can see through the veil, you can see what's at play. You can see the control. You can see the deception. You can see the insanity and the chaos. You see these things with plain eyes. And you say, my God, how did this come to be? But that's where scripture comes into play, where it says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And he covereth the faces of the eyes of the judges thereof. And then you begin to understand that, oh, that's why it's like this, because the earth is no longer in the hands of righteous souls. The earth is in the hands of wicked souls. And they come up with all types of strategies, right? All kinds of strategies to oppress those that they deem need to be controlled and oppressed. And they incentivize and instigate people doing the exact same things to try to subjugate and to oppress and try to control others. And it becomes a fanatical thing. And it's a wonder to behold. It's a wonder to observe, because laced within all of these matrix-like schemes is the biggest things, which is fear. Fear is what is really the most motivating factor in all of this. Fear, because when it comes to control, if you can't control by admiration and love, then the next strategy is to try to control by oppression and to try to control by threats and intimidation. These tactics are often going to be used as a strategy and a methodology in order to try to maintain some false sense of superiority and control. They want to control the masses. They want to control those they feel are a threat to their established order. And while I can understand, and to a degree, I can comprehend why certain souls and spirits will be motivated to operate to such a degree, beloved chosen ones, I have to say I disdain those who must thrive on lies, who must perpetuate falsehood, who must who must empower narcissism as a means of maintaining some type of system of domination. And especially when it's in a false sense, when you're living a lie and you have so many entranced into your lie that so many souls are becoming contaminated, toxified, right? Decayed spiritually as a result of embracing the indoctrination, the madness, and the insanity. It's become so disgusting and so depraved, right? And it's and the whole ideology is, as long as it doesn't affect my household, as long as it doesn't affect my home, my genealogy, my pedigree, all's par for the course. But see, with that, the universe, excuse me, chosen ones, with that, the universe looks upon those things. And at one time, the universe winked on certain things like that. But now it's reached an arena and a place in a format where those times are far gone. Just like there are seasons to the earth, There are seasons for certain elements of the world. And the season of falsehood is fading away swiftly. And as the season of falsehood fades away, there become swifter and harsher judgments for those who practice and empower or enable those types of dynamics as a way of social cohesion. So now we're living in a day and an age where truth must reign, truth must be delivered, truth must be birthed. And all those who would inhibit or prohibit it from being birthed must be done away with and moved out of the sphere and spectrum and scope of humanity. And as a result of these things, that's why we see so much of this social disharmony, this unraveling, if you will, because so many souls and spirits are becoming discontent with lies and deception. Once one has tasted the fresh waters, the pure waters of truth, it's hard to go back to lies and falsehood. In fact, one might become allergic to falsehood and lies and deceptions at that point. They're going to yearn for it, not just thirst for it. They're going to yearn for truth. And we're in a day and an age where people are yearning for truth, not just people. The creation itself is yearning for the highest truth. It is over and done with lies and deceptions. So as we move forward throughout these days in spanses of time, you're going to see as we enter into the fullness of the season, many who embrace lies and falsehoods as a way of life are going to be done away with. They're going to perish, chosen ones. They're going to fall away. Their systems, their organizations, their disciplines, their establishments, they're going to fade away and they're going to fight. But there's none greater than the Most High. And if the Most High sets forth the decree, then there's nothing better than to yield. Because if they refuse to yield, they will be eradicated. But in the meantime, in between time, as we deal with all these things, chosen one, spiritual Israel, may we have the abundance of peace. May we have the abundance of prosperity that comes from walking in truth and light and sovereignty of holiness, and forsake the dark and evil and corrupted ways of lies and insanity in humanity. Yes, may we be empowered by the righteousness of Yah. Chosen ones, spiritual Israel. This is your brother Malak Hanif, aka the Benevolent Winds. Always going to be coming through with that spiritual voltage that I know that we need, that spiritual wind that I know what we need, that encouragement as the Most High so wills. To him be alone be glory, honor, and praise for all generations. Selah. Peace.